After a 22-game win streak this split, PSG Talent are finding that it is not a coronation waiting at them in the upper bracket finals. It is a challenge. As we head into Game 5, you've all heard the silver scrapes. You all know what's coming. One team will move on to Worlds today, and the other will have to fight another time tomorrow in the lower bracket. A lot of stakes are riding up here. I'm your host and play-by-play Clement Chu. With me is Nightstar, and these are our sponsors, CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Chunghwa Telecom, and Caliber. Now, let's be honest, Nightstar. Did you think we would be here? Did you think the flawless PSG in 2021 summer would be facing a Game 5 from the usurpers in Mega Man Beyond Gaming?
Honestly, it didn't feel like we were set on this path because of how dominant PSG have been. But, I mean, they might have been a little bit lackadaisical with their preparation here. As Mega Man Beyond Gaming, they've just been, yes, the game 1 was definitely a disaster. But after that, it's been pretty clean from games 2 and 4. It's been really nice play coming out, even though in game 3, yes, they did drop that one. But it wasn't without a fight. And I think they figured out the draft formula here is the big thing.
Yeah, it's been all about the scaling. We've mentioned this. If Aphelios isn't on the board, you take Ziggs and you win the game. That's basically what we've seen so far. We did have Unified losing one to Liang earlier on, but the general trend is Blue Sign is dominant, and scaling the way that Beyond Gaming most likely likes to play the game has also been much stronger than the way PSG likes to play the game, which is about rotations, about snowballing, and about roaming. So the pressure is on. I feel like PSG, they have a lot more riding on their legacy, while Mega Bank Beyond Gaming was just formed this year. This would be a massive victory for them. And, you know, I think there are a lot of bad memories haunting PSG right now.
And it will be the Philia stripped away. Viego left available. However, Lee Sin being a bit of a priority for PSG. But when you do have bruisers coming out for Liang in that top side, it makes this Lee Sin pick a lot less relevant because you can't just assassinate all 3 big carries like that. However, it will still be that first pick locked in, and at the very least, PSG, they've gone ahead and banned away the Xin, just saying, hey, we don't want to deal with the disengaged power here. So for Mega Man Beyond Gaming, what's their next plan? Currently hovering the Diana, and that will be the lock-in. So still looking for team fight power out of the jungle, but not as smooth of a power curve as something like a Xin.
Yeah, this one is definitely a lot weaker early game compared to the Xin, and typically we have to see supporting lanes for this Diana. Really brings the question what Mao and Liang can play. Usually you want something 80 bruiser-ish. We've seen a lot of Lucians being picked with the Diana, maybe the Yasuo coming in as well. That's something that technically could happen, but hasn't happened yet with Mao, so we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. PSG are going to go back to their pocket picks. This is something that has been with Unified for all his career. The Jin pick, not always viable in most metas, but he still plays them in high-pressure situations. Regardless, he's going to lock that one in, trading range for range against the Varus.
Adding pick potential, also has solid laning power. And the Trundle could also come through here. As again, it's very good into immobile carries. Varus definitely one of those. However, showing it this early would allow you to pivot, and it will be the Leota instead. So early picking the Leota here, not looking for something like a Bard in that second phase to try and punish. And BYG, we'll see what they go for this last pick on this first phase. Lucian, of course, still has flex potential, as clearly Liang and Maoan have shown that they will play it. It's just a matter of, well, how effective they are on it. And during the lane phase, both of these players have had their share of problems.
I'm going to say it right here, but, you know, either way, it's been more effective than the Gnar pick. So if they ban the GP, I think they should be fine either way. we are going to get into the second phases. For PSG, this is a very interesting draft because they are fighting fire with fire. When their life is on the line, they're going back to pure career, just pocket picks. The picks have always been with them, regardless of patch. Jin, Leona, and Lee Sin. This is not trying to disengage from something like the Diana. We've seen like combo breakers, like the Mordekaiser, like the Xin Zhao, but this is a completely different track. We're gonna pick you off before you even see us.
Funny you should mention Mordekaiser, because if you're looking for a blind pick, a weak side top laner with the GP gone, that could definitely be the answer here for Hanabi.
True.
And for BYG, I feel like this is exactly how they want to play. They want to get a carry matchup for Liang and allow him to dominate. And for PSG, this is a little bit outside of what or how they want to play. They don't want to play for Hanabi, but with Jin locked in, that should be the game plan. Play more towards Maple Hanabi.
Definitely could be a possibility right here. This lane is strong in terms of ganks post 6, but early on against the Vars, you don't really win the lane outright. We're going to see the Alistar being banned away here. Still Nautilus and Rakan on the table for Kino. Let's see which one he locks in right here. Saving Liang, the last pick, is most likely going to be the answer right here. And it will be the Gwen, another power pick coming out. Double AP in the top side, but they don't care. The strength is there for Liang and Hu Xia. And, you know, I hate to say it, but the counter is Gnar. Maybe Jace, please Jace. Jace seems a little bit too heavy on the AD though. Oh my god, no, 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 no. Please. Okay, the coach is really mad. Okay, okay, thank you so much. They have Korean coaches, so sometimes the communication could go wrong. I was like, okay, I'm glad the coach agrees with me. There was no way that they were picking the Gnar after that last team fight.
Yeah. They still might consider it here. I would much rather have the Irelia because you're trying to overload one end of the map to snowball a lane. Snowballing a Gnar is not it. Viego could be it here, as for sure it's a much better option than the Gnar, but we did see how ineffective they were around playing around Hanabi's Viego in game number 2, and does look like they want to go back to it.
I just want to say thank you, Helper. You are a godsend. Making sure your team does not casually lock into Gnar was probably the best thing you could do right here. I think PSG, they now have a fighting chance. In terms of the champions, I gotta say, I still kind of like Beyond Gaming's draft a little bit more. I feel like the raw power is there, the team fight potential is there. But PSG, this is everything that they've been familiar with. This is how they got the flawless split in the first place. It was this heavy roaming strategy. It was Kaiwing just leaving the lane. Leona solar flaring underneath the tower. Gold card. Lee Sin flies in from the flank. Just get a kill. Snowball everything. It didn't work out in this series. We do have to mention that the Viego game, even with a great start for Hanabi, did fall completely flat on its face. But in theory, this is a very strong composition, and this is, when it comes down to it, what makes PSG such a dangerous team.
Yeah, this time they're able to get their bread and butter rotational tempo style composition here. But over on the flip side, BYG, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they also get what's been working for them in this entire series, which is just team fight power. And what I'm interested in is what Doggo goes for a build here. Does he go for the more on hit or crit style build here, as it's looking to be more of that 25-30 minute break point where they just immediately pretty much win the game as long as they're not 7-8k gold behind?
Yeah, if you're looking at this composition, it's quad carries from Beyond Gaming. Their damage is through the roof. Compare that to PSG, they have a pretty marked fall off. They're sinners in the mid jungle. There's no sustained damage coming in from Unified. So in terms of the game pacing, they need to snowball. And in terms of team fights, they need to find picks. If they just straight up 5v5, it's not going to work. So we're going to find out what happens and find out who goes to Worlds. I've heard that FBX has probably already punched their ticket, taking down the 3-0. So at least we can be the 11th team. The 10th team sound a lot cooler, but the 11th, I think most teams would still settle for that, as long as they get their ticket.
Hey, it's the 11th season of League of Legends, so you know what? 11 might be a lucky number here. We'll have to watch and find out, but game number 5, it all comes down to one single game. Do PSG have enough in the early game to take it over the line, or will Megabank Beyond Gaming just outscale PSG?
Taking a look at the runes here, we do have Fleet Footwork in the bot side for more sustain early on, and some cheese in the top side for Hanabi here. A very important thing to note is this guy is not running Flash. Neither of the top laners are running Flash. So an early level 1 could cascade into more ganks and just snowball out of control. Both of these picks, very high power, no escapes. It's a cage match to the end.
Yeah, and for the side of PSG, the one thing that they do have going for them is they have a lot of single target lockdown potential, and it will be a late invade here.
Alright, this is just a 2-man late invade. Trying to get a vertical jungle would be very beneficial to PSG if they do take this one down. Liang is hanging around though, at least going to try and force the smite away. Do some damage to River. Husha can't really contest this as a level 1 Diana. So she's just going to head towards her own jungle. And honestly, vertical jungle is great for PSG.
It is going to be really nice here. And more importantly, Liang uses that ward early on, which means he's got to play pretty conservatively in this lane phase, especially knowing that River is starting top side with the vertical jungle path thing. And while they do have a ward onto red buff here, we'll see if this bot lane does try and push out to maybe contest that red buff for Husha, or if it will just be an unchallenged 3 buff as it does currently look like.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 buff into potential double scuttle. So very powerful, but early on, Unified not expected to win out against the Hail of Blades, and this is what we're seeing. He does get the push down, and they have to be careful because of the Lee Sin, but in terms of the raw damage trades, it is Doggo that comes out ahead. And I do want to mention why we say vertical jungle is better. It's much easier to force plays on someone without Flash than compared to someone with Clent. So if you can get the vertical in the top side, it's going to swing the matchup much heavier than if you can get the vertical on the bottom side. Yeah. Or if you can get the strong side on your bottom. That's a short explanation there. But at the very least, Beyond Gaming will hold on to one scuttle on this side.
Yeah, not the worst of trades here, and while it definitely could have cascaded into a myriad of problems, it does look like they are going to stabilize and possibly set up for a bot lane dive. They do have minions not quite crashing into the tower, and now that things are slowly coming through, do they pull the trigger? That's the question.
My answer is probably no. Unified passes, but they're going for the 4v2 dive. Ignite already goes down. Cleanse being used already. Husha going in for the first blood, but he's just going to stay here. There's nowhere for him to go. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Lee Sin also coming down here. So they keep Unified down, but the kill goes over to Twisted Fate. How do you feel about this trade? We'll watch the mechanics again.
Watching the replay, I thought that once the teleport got channeled by Maple, they would go ahead and back off the play, but they will commit to it, go 1-for-1, and while the kill goes into the hands of Maple, the person who got the kill for the side of Megabank Beyond Gaming was the Lucian. So Maple, with this extra kill, doesn't change a whole lot in this mid lane. Gets him to that Everfrost a little bit faster, so amplifies his pick potential. But when you get extra gold into a Lucian, he has the ability to 1v1 you that much easier. And now it's just party in the mid lane. This is exactly what PSG like to do. It's just drag resources into this mid to force summoners onto the opposing mid.
Looks like River will find Kino here as he walks across. Here we go to the Sonic Wave. And Solar Flare does find the target.
As
Flash instantly used. That means bot lane for Doggo. He instantly needs to retreat as well. You see the pings coming down. They know that the Lee Sin is coming in. Doggo still has double sums, though, so he's got a pretty good fighting chance here. We'll see.
He is trapped.
That is true, though. He's got nowhere to go. The damage is piling on. River is incoming. Gold card is down, and that's an easy cleanup for them. Only one sum used. I'm sorry, I completely underestimated the conviction of PSG, and they take Doggo with ease.
This is exactly what they are good at. The minute you concede a little bit of ground, they will go ahead and just overload that side of the map. And you see Kino forced to burn that flash. That means, at best, it's going to be Huxia trying to support his bot laner. Maybe a teleport coming from Liang. So at best, it's a 4v3. They take their odds, and it's just a 4v1, even easier. However, BYG able to secure this dragon for themselves will be a nice little boon, especially having that extra healing in lane will help out considerably. But PSG looking good at the start of this game. They need to keep up this pace, though.
River is still waiting around. He's very far off from Dragon Rage, as we can see his EXP bar, so just waiting for a potential Mawan to get over-aggressive here. Not going to happen. And once again, we see the makings of a vertical map. This is the second red buff that River will secure away from Beyond Gaming's jungle, and the third red buff overall. So far, Liang does not have the TP, which makes him very vulnerable to a gank here. Maple can make the trip, and he still has a minion dematerializer. This is something that very experienced Twisted Fates do. They save that minion dematerializer for those specific ganks. Huxia knows that someone is here. You can tell from the pings that he's very aware that River is probably around his jungle, but he still has to make the trek for his top laner. Will not find River just yet. Very dangerous for the
information. Okay. That's so long, Big Krug.
Does get the red smite, but Huxia's going to tick over to level 6 just very quickly, so I don't think River has a play here.
Yeah, River not getting level 6 off of the large Krug is going to be problematic, or at the very least it means that Huxia is online and can start making plays now for himself. And this is where things slowly start shifting. Yes, the one item is still pretty bonkers for PSG, just having the extra catch potential. And just... but once BYG get that second item, that's when things will start to swing. Once these Sorelda grudges come through, then it's their turn to start picking people out if PSG are caught out. And it looks like we're headed towards a Rift Herald fight.
The Hanabi does have right of way. He's much stronger than Liang at this point. They're coming in, but the rotations from Kino are just a little bit faster, so each side has some advantage here. They are going to try to zone them away from the Herald buff itself. All it takes is 20 seconds. Let's see if PSG decide to then close the trap. Liang is getting a lot of HP back, and here comes the fight. River already taking down a half HP. Here comes the combo. Lee Sin instantly dead. Maple has to run away. He does make it over the wall, but Huxia is going to chase him down. That's a double kill for the Diana already, and everyone from Beyond Gaming is here to the fight.
That was a bit of a fly trap. They smelled that sweet nectar, which was, of course, the Eye of Rift Herald, but that's all that BYG gave them there, as immediately the jaws just snapped down onto them. BYG, they find themselves 2 kills. This is a lot earlier than what we expect from them, but they still have the team fight set up. They have a lot more AoE damage, and that's exactly what pays off here.
Was doing the play clearly was Hanabi just take it and get out, but he goes way too far forward and just gets focused down there. They can't see Diego, but they can see you. So that was kind of weird from River, in all honesty. Heartbreaker was still there for Hanabi too, so I'll be honest, River has not been on point this series. This is very uncharacteristic of him, but the play was so obvious from Hanabi, I just don't know why he went forward.
That was one of those things where jungler just says, Rift Herald is always mine, so I'm headed over to grab what is mine, and Hanabi was like, wait, but it's actually mine. And River, well, he needlessly gives up his life, also ends up costing a second death on their squad as Maple takes a trip into the respawn pit as well. And BYG out to, while they're down in gold, it's a very comfortable position here with this composition, and for PSG it's a very uncomfortable composition for them to play, even though they have TF and Lee Sin and all these comfort champions. It's trying to play around Hanabi, which they haven't been able to do.
Getting caught out once more. Is able to jump away before most of the crowd control comes down on Kino's part. This is looking very dangerous. Husha with this lead, these items against double solo laners, no flash, and the Jhin. You're going to spend most of the team fights running away from Diana.
Yep, it's definitely a very scary prospect, especially with the extra catch lockdown.
Here comes the
from
catch.
Now
let's see if River can line some hook up. He does get the Q1, trying to find the angle on the Q2, but it dissipates already. And here comes the Solar Flare. Ooh. In goes PSG with Maple, but they lose Leona instantly, and there's not enough burst damage. Unified is caught past the Glacial Fissure.
They just don't have damage.
That's 2 kills right now going over on the side of Beyond Gaming. Maoin's going to chase down for a third. Nearly dies, but survives at the very end. PSG River gets one back at the very least. Now Viego is hunting for them. Will they step on this trap? That is a massive slow. He gets away from it. Unified still holding on to the flash. He's going to survive. And in comes Hanabi with the Heartbreaker. Maoin going to die. That's already 2 kills. PSG are turning this one around. Kino goes down. And finally, River gets redemption for another one. He's going to die in the very end. But that was enough to pull the kill score 6-6. And now you have a fed Hanabi. Well, not really a fed Hanabi, but at least a fed Jhin.
Wow, what a close fight there as it starts out really well for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. So we're going to see the replay. They're all lined up, and it's just nice ultimate coming in, and they do have flank angles set up here from the side of PSG, but the issue is where's their damage to finish off these kills? They don't have any of that until the fight breaks down, and it's kind of all hell breaks loose. And knowing that Viego is right behind them, they're forced to push forward to try and finish off Unified, and they just aren't able to do so. Viego finally comes in, he throws down an Ignite, Maoin is dead for sure one way or another, and then it's just they're able to mop up these single targets afterwards.
Can I just say that Unified is just disgustingly good? This series has just proven in my mind that Unified is without a doubt the best player in PCS. It's like not even close. That was disgusting. He took Doggo down to 150 HP. He saved himself on 100 HP, stood around for fleet footwork, baited out a flash, turned around and then killed Maoin. And like, he essentially killed 3 people by himself in that team fight. That's I don't know where PSG would be without Unified. Like, that... it's just obscene what Unified gets away with.
Yep. I mean, there's some content coming out earlier in the week about Unified saying, hey, you know, we'll find out who's the best AD carry, who's the best bot lane in PCS. He's really putting on a show. However, still, kind of backs against the wall at the moment, and interestingly enough, it's Unified going for the Eclipse build here. So getting the extra percent pen might help in trying to shred through some of these tankier members. Does also get a little bit more sustain, and they will be able to get top tower. However, it is in exchange for this a Mountain Dragon. And it will be Infernal Soul.
Oh, that one's absolutely massive. I think for both teams here, but maybe if you're talking about pick, it would be more beneficial to PSG. Maple just walks up, but Husha is right there. Husha finds a chance to go in, but cannot save Maoan. River almost about to go down. Husha trying to find the auto attacks on him. Glacial Fissure goes down. River goes back in for the slow. Hanabi is by his side, but it's finding it very difficult to chase down the third kill right here. Doggo is coming in as well, but Kaiwing finds him.
Teleport's coming in.
Him with the stun. Now Liang is there. But Beyond Gaming can't find any more kills. That's just a 2-for-1 in favor of PSG once more.
PSG trade up once again. And it's just the rotations coming in a little bit faster before those teleports do come through by Liang. We'll see the replay. Maoan, there's still a lot of single target damage. Not really team fight power necessarily from PSG, but if you lock down a single target, you have more than enough CC and single target damage to finish them off pretty quickly. And that's what they do. It's just one by one from BYG, which is why they aren't able to answer back. And it just comes down to being able to group up as 4 or 5, and just take those fights straight up on even numbers, not get caught out 1 or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
In those situations, that's when PSG will shine with that composition, having that Everfrost already completed by Maple. Plenty of CC chaining going to come out.
Hanabi is getting a little bit fed, though. This is the second tower that he's been able to take down with full gold going to himself. We have seen disgusting things by Viego. I think we all have seen what Viego can do. And Beyond Gaming, it feels like they need to worry on multiple fronts at this point. There is a very strong 4-1. There is a very powerful just pick potential, so they have to stick together. How do they make their way into more even footing from this point onward?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tall task here for BYG, as they do have to concede a lot of ground. They can't just set up 1-3-1 willy-nilly because of the extra global coming in from Maple on the Twisted Fate. Makes it very difficult for them to just default here. That's something they're going to have to answer. Yes, you do have Mao on. It will still apply kill threat, but the moment anyone else visits the lane, that's when he'll have a lot of issues, because he doesn't have a cleanse, he doesn't have a QSS, so he has no way to get out of gold card. Saving grace will be when he does have the extra slow coming in from Sorel does. That's going to be the big mark. But ult coming through will zone Doggo off the tower. Kind of.
Jin trying to make it 4-for-4 here, holding on to the last shot. He lands everything, but doesn't do much damage. Most of it is execution-based. PSG dropped a fairly meaningless Herald, to be completely honest here. Doesn't really take anything down. It's still very far from the Drake, but well, the timer's up. You got to do it. You got to do it. And we continue to just scale up until the next objective.
Yeah, and with Infernal Soul on the tables, you've got a lot more open space to work with. Don't have to fight through a lot of terrain. Which means that for these double 80 carries, it will help out considerably. Just having the extra room to maneuver away from the Viego. Of course, he likes more terrain and to stay invisible. And the Infernal Soul, though, I think really benefits PSG more than Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, because it shores up and ensures that they are able to kill that first target if it does get locked down.
It's basically a kill secured concept. We are going into this next team fight, and you've been saying this entire time. 5v5 from Beyond Gaming, if they arrive on spot first, if they can just use their ultimates first, they should win. PSG have a very difficult 5v5 team fight. Like, they need to be looking for stragglers, they need perfect kicks, they need crowd control to work for them. It's good that River is slippery, but it's hard to fight this one, and they're looking at a Infernal Soul point already. Granted, they have won games giving over the Soul plus the Elder Dragon, but I don't think they want to be there. That's what I'm saying. So now we have Maple trying to find the angle into this team fight. Beyond Gaming once again keeping very close together. Cleanse being used by Doggo here, and Hanabi is coming in.
They need flash gold card.
Yeah, gold card went on to Kino, not who they want to find just
River
yet.
coming in on the flank.
is coming in, and we have Liang taking away the objective first. Hanabi just going to go down before he does anything. Just dies straight up like that, and this would be Beyond Gaming cleaning up the team fight afterwards. Unified has to flash out. Maple running away with the gold card, but how far can he go? River picks up the stragglers. This is the turn around. Maple with another gold card on the side, but then it goes in. They pick up 3 in an instant. PSG are wiped. A full ace. Only one going down on Beyond Gaming's end. And I gotta say, that's another team fight where Hanabi just does nothing.
They're going to turn straight over to the Baron buff. More importantly, Clemens, and this could be it. This is going to be a big gold swing here for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. They're going to be able to take the gold lead. And more importantly, PSG have no answers. There's no way to 50-50 this objective. The death timers are still relevant, even though it is only 21 minutes into the game. And Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, this could be it for them to make the grand finals and secure their spot at Worlds.
We're gonna watch this team fight again. Hanabi goes in for the objective steal, and so does River. So they have 2 people on the steal route, and no one really
This is the issue, though. River, he goes in on the flank to try and set up a play on one of these backline carries, but because of that, he isn't able to contest the dragon, so they give it up for free. And yeah, you just see there's so much more team fight damage, and while they are able to get one person low, look at the health bars. When the turn comes through, instantly their health bars evaporate.
Just a very awkward team fight. Unified was in curtain call when the kickback on Husha happened, so he didn't manage to find that kill. And I was just, it was kind of sad to see. You saw Hanabi die without doing any damage. River coming in late to the team fight. So, you know, PSG could have just disengaged that, and they would have been completely fine. They would have lived to fight another day. They still had chances. But they went in, and things did not align.
And now this is a big problem here, because they don't have wave clear up against this Baron push. And even though they are trying to get what they can on the sides, it's just too difficult.
This is Kaiwing being opened up onto. Hanabi is on the side, and Liang isn't here, but Beyond Gaming know their strength. They're willing to hold this territory against a potential 5-man, and they're absolutely correct for it. They're going to take down 2 towers, no answer from PSG. Gold lead, now 3,000 gold. Can you hear the world's songs being written right here? Beyond Gaming could etch themselves into the history books by making it to Worlds, their first international, the first year of their inception. That would be absolutely crazy if they do. See if PSG can fight back here. The current call is going to get opened up. Still no one falling really low. Kino holding the door in front. They're all going to survive with great HP bars. Doggo, the only one being taken close to half HP.
Cleanse, though.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah, having Cleanse still up available on Doggo means that even though he is taken down to 60%, even if they find the Flash Gold card, it's not going to be enough. And there's no ultimate on Leona. Wait for that cooldown to come back up. Although River expending a kick means that they're just going to have to give up this tower.
There's no threat anymore. Solar Flare isn't there, so Beyond Gaming happy to just walk up and pick up these towers. In the meantime, Maple has been straight farming. He's got to reach that second AP item. RFC second means that he barely scratches people at this point. Liang can overheal everything he does. Diana one-shots him. It's kind of a sad TF.
Look at the amount of armor already built up from that front line. Liang has Zhonya's, he has these steel cap boots, and Zhonya's also completed onto Husha. This, while it is 2 carries, somewhat squishy targets per se, because of how much armor that they do have already, and that extra Mountain Dragon helping out a bit here. It's very problematic for them to burst down until Maple gets that third and fourth item, but with how this game is going, it's going to be insanely difficult to reach that point, as of course they have to try and contest Dragon Soul here in 10 seconds.
Infernal Soul would be massive for Megabank Beyond Gaming. Basically means Husha can one-shot the entire team. Liang jumps over the wall, nearly finds himself in a lot of trouble. But Maple not willing to go on that one. River.
Look at Doggo's position. He's
Ooh,
trying to catch out Unified.
So dangerous. Unified gets found here, but Maple.
He's on a long way.
Who can he even current call from this position? He has to walk back into it. Mawan dealing tons of damage to Maple. River does find the Q here. Can he find the steal? No, Husha's going to secure the Infernal Soul. Chains of Corruption misses, but Beyond Gaming are able to full-on disengage.
Yeah, the issue is they can't even chase here. And while they won't necessarily just be able to end straight up, at the moment, Baron is up in 75 seconds. That's what they're going to try and set up for. They're going to leave a couple of wards just to lay out vision early. But all signs point to this Baron fight to be the big fight left in this game. We're going to see elixirs hopefully being bought up by both sides as they know what the stakes are.
You know, if I'm PSG, I'm never asking Doggo to suffer me again. It's just too detrimental. You might get a better record at Worlds that year, but Doggo's going to take your slot the next. So, ooh, this is getting very heated. Beyond Gaming, once again, a lot of them do not have much competitive experience at all. Husha and Malan haven't really been there. Only Liang's been to Worlds. Doggo's been to Internationals. And I know I know what you've been saying, but Doggo does a lot of damage right now, and there's only one target that can realistically be picked on Beyond Gaming, and that's Mawan. That's it. Everyone else has stasis.
He's really the only unsafe member in Unified. He is dead.
That's your main damage dealer. I think that's it.
Yeah. That could just be all she wrote here. Viego, of course, can try and get a reset, but how do they get that reset is the question. They'll just go ahead, grab that mid inhibitor, immediately turn towards the Baron, as that is now live. And PSG, this feels like this has to be the last stand, but how can they do it without Unified?
Well, we have seen more ridiculous steals than this before. We'll see River's positioning. This is the most crucial part. Doggo trying to deny vision on the backside. Can River actually find that Sonic Wave into the pit? Liang is searching for him.
Oh, they're trapped.
Doesn't land the
They're not committing.
Q1. He has to walk out here. They just don't have enough damage to go through the front line. Hanabi is down. Maple's getting chased. It's a double kill. Unified finally pops back in, but Kino is blocking him. He can't do enough damage. He just gets aced by Moan. Mon casually picks up the kill, and Beyond Gaming are going to Worlds. PSG, despite a 21-0 split, they do not punch their ticket. They could still stay inside the PCS and not even make the trip. Beyond Gaming, what an incredible journey. What an incredible story. They just were brought up from nowhere to fill up a slot in the PCS, and they make it to Worlds on their first try. Congratulations to Megabank Beyond Gaming. They are our PCS representatives.
An unbelievable run by this young squad here. They went far and beyond with their gameplay, with their growth, and especially with this series. And PSG, the unbeaten streak this year comes to a close. As I mean, it just looked like a preparation difference here. The side of Megabank Beyond Gaming, they came in with a plan and they were able to execute. And for the side of PSG, they didn't really get the tools they wanted to until this last game. But the tools on the side of Megabank Beyond Gaming were just better.
Yeah, I think if you look at the power picks, that's really where the imbalance comes through. Beyond Gaming had far better usage out of Lucian, out of Gwen, out of Diana. Those three like meta picks in the PCS so far. While on the other hand, PSG, Viego, very suspect. Good laning phase, never showed up in team fights. And their pick potential in the bottom side wasn't enough to actually cover over their mistakes, which they made a lot of mistakes in this series, to be completely honest. A very, like, River was completely off his game. Honestly, I felt like Kaiwing overchased a couple times. There is blame to go around, but PSG were not as sharp as what we expected them to be. And I think a large part of it, my personal diagnosis, is a large part of it is because they were so uncontested in regular season. I actually felt like their regular season was very spotty at times, but they were able to go through without playing a teamfight comp, without playing a 1-3-1 comp, and that came back to bite them in the end. They only had one comp, and when you are going into Game 5 of a best-of-5 series, and you only have one card in your hand, it's a little bit easy to tell, and it's easy to counter. Oof.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough series for them. They'll be going back to the drawing board. You could even say if things went better in game number 1, this series could have ended before 5 games. Just because of...
Game 2, right?
No, game 1 with the disastrous start from Megabank Beyond Gaming.
Oh, okay.
In that bot side, like if that goes better, this they'd be able to come online with their very strong carry setup, and it was just this theme: we're going to run 3 carries, maybe we run 4, especially in this last game with Huxia put on a carry as well, as he takes the MVP with his absolutely stellar performance on this Diana pick, just getting multi-man ults time and time again. And there were just more carries to play through from Megabank Beyond Gaming. And over on the side of PSG, it was just Unified, and Unified wasn't put in a position to succeed in Game 5.
I've got to say, we are reaching a new peak in the PCS here. It's no longer PSG Kingdom. For sure, they could still come back and just win the grand finals. That is definitely possible. I'm not putting it out of contention. This could just be one step, a hiccup, but I think it is something that will make them stronger. I think they need to be introspective about this, and they need to face the music. Is that, let's be honest, the competition in the PCS for a team like PSG is not the hardest. They have been coasting through a lot of times. I feel like River has, steadily declined this split, and Hanabi has always had his flaws. So it's time to take a hard look and say, okay, what can we fix? What archetype do we actually perfect? Because this was a situation where, yes, you could play full tempo, but you had a lot of picks which you could not touch. You could not go Lucian top lane. You could not go Viego top lane. You certainly are not going Gnar counter pick. And those are limitations that if they limit you in the PCS, they're going to kill you at Worlds. So I think it's good that PSG at least find some obstacles to overcome now rather than embarrassing themselves later.
While that may be true, I don't know if they were prepared from a coaching staff perspective to play tomorrow, because that's the task set for them, is the fact that they are going to be playing J-Team with less than 24 hours to prepare. Did they have things set up to make sure if things go wrong today, they are set up to succeed tomorrow? That's a big question. And where is also the headspace from the players? Are they prepared to take a series tomorrow? And even though if you line them up roster-wise, you still give a heavy favorite to PSG, it's not always just manpower going into a series. There's also the mental game.
You line them up roster-wise, you still give the heavy favorite to PSG even in this series. So
yeah,
that's I don't know. Like, I think this is PSG. They've got to face reality from this one. I'm actually happy this has happened to them. I don't want another quick finish the Worlds from this team if they go. At this point, they might not even go. So I'm just saying if. But it's good to see competition. It's good to see a new squad rising up to face the same caliber that PSG has been dominating with. And I think it's better that it happens earlier rather than later. That's going to be it for us for the casting desk. For now, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, it will be Ray Rachu with an interview with Doggo.